Daronte, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome home.
Appreciate you.
So many DMV ties for you growing up, going to high school right near the stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, to get your first defensive coordinator job, not only to get it, but to get it here, how much does that mean to you?
It's a blessing. Never saw it coming. You know, you just never know what may happen in life. But to come back home to a place where my career started here, you know, either through high school or even playing Little League football right around the corner at Landover Hills Boys and Girls Club. And so it's special. It's special.
You got family here as well.
Yes,
How
yes, all my
excited are they to
family's
have
here.
you
My
back?
grandmother, my mom, my aunt, they were thrilled. My uncles, everyone was excited because they're diehard fans. And so they just been fans of everywhere else I've been. But the foundation is here. So for them to actually be able to wear their Commander's gear is pretty special.
You grew up a Washington football fan.
Die hard.
What?
Darrell Green, Tim Walton, you know.
I think you're taking the words out of my
Calvin
mouth.
Bryant, all of those guys.
Obviously, you got some guys that stick out in your mind, guys that are still hanging out.
Naturally, the receivers, right?
Right.
I grew up, my mom let me stay up to watch the Super Bowl that Doug Williams won against Denver Broncos, which was huge. I grew up a big, Ricky Sanders, Gary Clark, Art Monk fan. So, we all wanted to be those guys growing up.
Surreal to be in this building.
How about that?
See that?
And to walk past Doug Williams right now.
Right. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. You were talking about what your defense is going to, people flip on a Commander's game, what your defense is going to look like, what the identity is. And you said what you want people to see first is joy.
Yeah.
Why is that? I thought that was an interesting answer.
Yeah.
Why is that important for your players to feel joy when they're playing, and how much can that translate to success?
Yeah, well, the joy shows a certain sense of selflessness amongst the team. It shows the overall team defense, guys playing for each other, having fun. And when you make a play, I'm genuinely happy for your success. And we can share in that because we don't really care who gets to play, who makes the plays. We know someone's going to make the play. But to be able to have that moment of now really truly going back to what the sport is, and the sport is about having fun. I know there's the job element of it, but when guys are growing up playing it in Pop Warner or middle school, it's about the joy, and you want to tap into that and let guys. It's a youthful sport, so let guys tap into their 9-year-old self and celebrate and have fun and have war dances and so forth.
You were highlighting some guys you're excited to get to work with earlier. After a season of struggles defensively in 2025, I know you weren't a part of it, but how you said the pieces are here. It's up to us to maximize the potential of our players. Do you believe that? I mean, do you believe that the talent is here? We can have a successful defensive season with the guys right now.
Right. You want to build off the players. It's about the players first and the scheme second. And so, what we do is predicated off of what we can do as a unit, and what our players can do and what their strengths are. So, what the scheme X's and O's could be, that can change, right? That can change based off of, free agency. That can change based off of the draft. That can change based off of, once you cast this wide net for the players that we have in here, and you kind of try to find through, who can do what and what they do well, then the X's and O's will take its shape, but lean on the players.
Does that kind of go into what you said earlier too about I'm not pigeonholing, I'm a 3-4, I'm a 4-3. It's not where they line up, it's where they end up. But does that have to do with your player? Do you use your players to line up guys where they're going to maximize their ability?
Exactly. Yeah. And again, the schemes or whatever people want to call it. Even in my time in Minnesota, with Brian Flores, the 2023 looked different than 2024, which looked different in 2025, right? Well, that's because the roster changed. And so as the roster changed, you continue to fine-tune what players do well. The background that I have, the extensive, being around multiple schemes, it allows us to have some flexibility with that, to continue to put players in the best position. Because at the end of the day, it's about them. It's not what we know as coaches, it's what they can execute. And so it's their defense.
Yep.
And so when people ask how aggressive will we be or what does it look like, it's whatever the guys on the defense want it to be. and that's what it's going to look like.
I feel like any coach, right? You're going to pull from every
Correct.
experience, every
Yes.
stop. You worked with obviously a couple of really good defensive minds in Minnesota, Mike Zimmer and Brian Flores. Yeah. How much do you pull from them? And you said, I'm not going to be a carbon copy, but probably learn some things from those guys.
I learned a lot from Blough just in terms of the versatility that he incorporates. That's where the versatility and the importance of it really comes from. With Zimmer, it was about third downs and protections and how that comes into play, right? With Marvin Lewis, it was about the details, and it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And it's the details of the schematics and the fundamentals and the techniques. And then Vance Joseph was all about the coverage. Everything I learned coverage-wise is from Vance Joseph. Yeah. And you can see those guys that are having success. You can see, I remember when I was a young coach at Miami Dolphins, Matt Burke, who's a defensive coordinator for the Texans, taught me how to script practice and how to organize practice to execute the things you need to get done. So all those traits you pick up as it goes. And then Lou Anarumo, learned so much with him. I was with him for a couple of years in Miami and with Cincinnati Bengals. And so you pick up from different things. And Lou had a great relationship with the players. Yeah. So it just, you pick things from whatever lesson and teacher that you want to get from, and you just develop your own personality with that.
I'm going to stick in Minnesota just for a second because you and new offensive coordinator David Blough, you overlapped there. Him as a player and you as a coach. Did you? Obviously, you got to know him then. But
yes.
What have you got to know about a player as a coach since that day up to today?
His ability, you can see it right away. His ability to get the guys lined up. We didn't have scout cards when it came with David. He was like, "What do you want me to do?" Hey, do what you do. And he was just calling plays. He was getting the guys lined up. We were able to do some no-huddle mechanics, 2-minute mechanics, and David was phenomenal in that. But you could tell he had a great knowledge of not just quarterback and receivers, but also protections, the running backs, getting guys where they need to go so that we can execute what we needed to get done. So you can see right away his acumen for the sport.
Your journey again, because you said, it's been a long journey, maybe not a typical one, a difficult journey at some points, D3, D2, Division One. You've coached every level.
Right.
Tough time. You mentioned, when things were tough, you're even staying in your car at times. Yeah. How do you think the difficulties of your path will show with you being a coach here, like at this level? Do you think that will help you, that difficulty?
Well, yeah, it helps me in terms of understanding the blessing and the opportunity that you have and not taking it for granted. Mm-hmm. No different than a player who's at this opportunity, who's at this level, however they got here, whether they were a first-round draft pick or they were undrafted, they still have an opportunity to grow and take advantage of what lies ahead. Yeah. And to waste that opportunity is a failure on our part and theirs as well. So our background as coaches, because we all come from different backgrounds, to instill some values in individuals that can help them not make that mistake, because we've seen it before in some way, shape, or form, and help them achieve their ultimate goal.
Just finally, and I think we've touched on this at the top, but how excited are you for this opportunity to be in this building and to see what you can do in 2026, your first year here?
It's surreal. It's surreal. It's an opportunity that I never saw this coming, and even when the job cycle comes, you're so used to, as coaches, we're programmed to just be where our feet are. And, my only goal was to try to be the best defensive backs coach that I could have been, wherever I am. And what happens after that happens, whatever God may has for me. So, you keep your head down and you just grind it out and you work, and you never know what may happen. And this is a prime example of what happens when you just kind of stay on the path and stay the course.
Daronte, excited for this year. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.